Hey boss, welcome to Curious Nidhi. Here I share everything about how to discover and transform yourself to achieve your goals by enhancing your inner strengths and stabilizing your weaknesses. Everything you need to know to become a better version of yourself. Today, let's discuss the common communication mistakes made at workplaces. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe. Let's start with some stats. Did you know that 57% of employees have reported that they are not being given clear directions at their workplaces? And 69% of managers say that they are not comfortable communicating with their employees in general. Having worked in client servicing, having led teams, and having conducted interviews throughout my career, 90% of all my job roles involved communication. So what are the common communication mistakes that I have observed people making and have been guilty of making a few of them myself? Okay, so first let's divide workplace conversations into two categories. First, group conversations like meetings involving 3 or more people, and second, one-on-one conversations with your boss, with your subordinate, with your peers. There are also other kinds of group interactions at a workplace like networking events and seminars, but this video would be very long if I included all of it in here. So once you tell me that you like this video, you found these tips useful, I will make another one dedicated to networking events in particular. Diving into group conversations, the first major mistake made in meetings is talking too much. Have you ever been in a meeting where one person tried to rephrase everything that their peer or their boss says without adding any value to the conversation themselves? To avoid being that person, there's this rule that I follow. WAIT. Why am I talking? I ask myself, am I adding any value to the conversation? If not, I should just stop talking. This rule reminds us that it is not always necessary to be the most talkative person in a room when we are not adding any value to the conversation. Second, talking over. Have you met anyone who just waits for you to finish before they can start talking themselves? There's a reason why people do that. We speak at a rate of 175 to 200 words per minute, whereas we are capable of listening and processing at the rate of 600 to 1000 words per minute. There are two things that we can do. First, if we have a problem focusing, we can repeat what the other person is saying in our head. And second, by focusing on non-verbal cues, by being aware of the vividness effect, which means being more drawn to the memorable aspects of the speech instead of the substance of the speech, paying more attention to the non-verbal cues instead of just the words. These tricks help us listen to understand before replying. The best part about these tricks is that they not only apply to meetings but also to one-on-one conversations, not only apply to workplace conversations but also to interpersonal conversations. Having said that, there are a few specific mistakes that we should avoid making in one-on-one conversations in particular. First, turning every conversation into a presentation. What does that mean? It means talking to people to present ourselves, be it having conversations with your boss, with your subordinate, with your peer. We don't always have to be in presentation mode. Conversations when are about association instead of presentation, they give fruitful results. If you have watched my video on how I managed to get an offer every time I gave an interview in the past 9 years, you know how much focus I put on building connections. The biggest mistake we can make is to not make genuine connections at our workplace or otherwise. The second mistake is to be inquisitive. This especially applies to conversations we have with our subordinates or our peers. We focus on being interesting, whereas we need to be interested in others by asking questions. By asking all the whys, by providing them with all the answers, we make them dependent on us. Whereas by asking the whats, we empower them to become self-dependent. Now, what about conversations with your bosses? The first mistake is trying to one-up your colleagues. We forget sometimes, especially during our weekly or monthly one-on-ones with our boss, that it is an official conversation. We should not say anything that just comes to our mind without thinking about the impact that it may have in the future. Before becoming an entrepreneur, when I had bosses, I followed what I call the rule of 5. Even if I was really frustrated about something that happened at work, if that something wouldn't have mattered in 5 days, I did not bring that up in a conversation with my superiors. Because you may forget what happened in a few days, but your boss doesn't. The second mistake is being too humble. If your boss says, I can see you have spent a lot of time working on this website, do not say, well, I redesigned a website before, so it wasn't too hard. Instead, say, yeah, I did. I'm so glad you liked it. Remember that if you want others to acknowledge your hard work, you must do so as well. These were a few common communication mistakes made at workplaces. I hope you find these tips useful. And before I go, I just want to say that keep up the amazing work that you're doing working on your personal development. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them below. And I would love to know if you have had similar or completely different experiences. Press the like and the subscribe button because it really helps the channel, and hit the bell icon so that you are notified every time I come up with a new video. Check out these 2 videos for more on personal and career development. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep up the great work, be well, and keep smiling.